Hello YouTube, this is Chris Gilbert, External Services. Today's video is going to be the video I said I was going to get up in October. A video that I recorded of clouds behind the moon, which is absolutely impossible on NASA's model. It's only possible on God's biblical flat earth. Um, I know I've been saying I got a lot of videos I got to get up and I'm behind on videos. Just very crazy videos that I recorded. I've got some more on my camera. This is the one we're going to go over today. Um, but and then not counting all of these videos that I've got made already. I just are set it to be made. I got to get made. Then I got videos stuff I got to still go over and put in video format to be able to go over it with you guys uh, with proof of everything I've been saying. But we're still at my mother-in-law. She just got out of the hospital again, more surgery on her foot. We're going to be here another 5 weeks. I was hoping we would be home by now and I start getting into a better upload schedule. It's been over 2 months since I made a video, and I don't like that. Uh, I got medical issues. My wife's got medical issues we're dealing with. We still got our vehicle issue we're dealing with, financial issues we're dealing with. It's just a lot, guys. My mother-in-law's internet is garbage, so it makes it hard to do anything. Then, like I've said before, try not to mess with my mother-in-law when she's watching TV, and she plays her TV loud. And then my wife, she's in the bedroom that we're sleeping in, and she'll be either watching TV or sleeping, because she works on the weekends at night. And so it's just one thing after another, guys. So anyway, let's get on with this. Um, as you see, like I said, it's been over 2 months I made a video. I've lost more than 10 subscribers. Tons of. I, I know some of them are people that just don't want to see the truth. They subscribe to me because one of my bigger videos is when thought I was talking to my mom's ghost at her grave, and I hope it wasn't, because it means she wasn't saved. Um, which I've talked about that in the videos. That's not what this video is about. And so they subscribed to me off that video without watching any more videos of mine, which I always recommend people do. I do the same thing. I will try to check out people that are new to my channel, um, when I don't recognize their name, and see if I like their content. I'll watch a bunch of videos of theirs. If I like their content, I'll subscribe to them. That doesn't mean that I'll stay subscribed to them. I've had channels I've been following for years that all of a sudden go stupid, and go against everything that I believe, and not just because they go against what I believe. It's how they do it. I'm not against learning new things and changing my beliefs if you show the right proof and you show evidence that I'm wrong. But when you bash and belittle and make fun of and mock and ridicule and so on and so forth, that's where I draw the line, because nobody learns that way. Nobody grows that way. Nobody gets closer to God and His Son Jesus and God's Word, the Bible, that way. Um, but yeah, so if you're new to my channel, please watch old, in between, and newer videos and get a better idea of who I am and see my growth that I've done over the years, before you make a decision to subscribe or unsubscribe from my channel. Um, but yeah, some of them is because they didn't want to see the truth. I know that. Some majority, I want to say, are YouTube taking subscribers from me because they don't like my content. They don't like the truth being put out there. So anyway, let's move forward. So um, if you type in clouds behind the sun and moon, you get a bunch of videos, which some of them I've went over on my channel. Uh, as you see, I mean, that this is impossible. Go through and look this up, and go through and watch these videos. When you get through watching, we're going to go over this one in this video, because a lot of people try to say that this is optical illusion. Um, but I mean, it's just video after video after video. This guy here, well, no, there's another guy, I'm sorry, where he records um, a video, and he's not even a flat earther. And it's just like beautiful sunset or whatever. I went over this video on my channel, um, which is impossible. The clouds under the sun under the clouds. These pilots recorded, but I mean, there's this. If I can't even find his video now, Um, anyway, there's a guy that recorded, and I believe I looked up moon behind the clouds is when it popped up, because it depends on how you do it here, um, of what pops up. But anyway, so let's go over this video here because I want to try to keep this short. My wife said took my mother-in-law to a doctor's appointment today, and so it's kind of quiet, and you know I can sit and make this video real quick, and that's another thing too. Real quick before we get onto this, is my back keeps going out, and what I mean by going out, I've mentioned in my videos I got lumbar scoliosis, I've got sciatica, and I've got bulging discs, and when my back goes out, quote unquote, it's because I got my normal, which is still not good, and then I've got when my back goes out. And when it goes out, that's when I bend over like an 80-year-old man. I got the old man shuffle. Um, it's hard to sit in a lot of positions. It's hard to stand for a, a very short amount of time when my back goes out. And right now, my laptop is sitting on my mother-in-law's coffee table, and then got a small little Ethernet cable is plugged into her modem, and so I have to sit on the floor to make videos or to play my game or anything else of that nature, or usually to do any research like I normally do. I have, if I'm going to use my laptop, I have to sit on the floor, and that gets very uncomfortable after a while, especially when my back's out. And it just literally went out a couple days ago, went out again. So anyway, let's move forward. And if you notice, this guy is the Globe Troller. I just realized that today when I was looking it up to get this video, to put it in this video, so in mine. But he had his comments turned on. Let's pull the video up. And I know because I read some of the comments, and most everybody was talking smack about the flat earthers, the biblical flat earthers, like myself. But there was a couple that went off on him and proved him wrong, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to prove the theory of optical illusion wrong by my video. See, I've seen it multiple times with my physical eyes. Okay, I've never, that I can recall. I may have recorded it before I became a biblical flat earther on my older videos and just didn't realize what I was seeing prior to 2017. So anyway, I had commented on his video that I had recorded clouds behind the moon, and the way it looks goes completely against what he's saying. And apparently he's had enough people like me giving him proof that he's wrong. I mean, he's right, but in a way he's wrong. And by doing so, he shut his comments off. And that is ridiculous to me. That to me is somebody that doesn't want to see the truth. They only want you to see their truth and what they are brainwashed to believe. And if you go against that, they block you, and or they delete your comments, and or they shut their comments off completely so that nobody can see your comments and nobody else can leave comments that contradicts what they say. Because if it contradicts what they say, then after enough of that, they have to start questioning what they believe, and they don't want to do that. They want to continue living in that matrix of lies, in that narrative. So, that now I want you to notice, before I push play on this light from the background light that he's got, whether it be from the windows or whatever, this doesn't change. Even when he turns this on, this doesn't change. This behind this looks like plywood does change. And that's important. That's extremely important. Because when I show you my video that I recorded, you'll see that, anyway, you'll see that the video that I recorded with the clouds behind the moon, that the light shines back this way on the clouds. and that couldn't be possible if it was just an optical illusion. And then he's trying to make it, and this is how people have tried to say it to me, and he even says it, like in a sense that the thinner clouds or the thinner object appears that appears to be behind it because the light's so bright that it shines through it, which is again false, because you'll see in my video that I recorded that there's tons of times where the real thin clouds are in front of the moon. You can clearly see they're in front of the moon. They're not behind the moon. Then you've got times where the clouds are super, super thick. And those are behind the moon. And then you got times where the moon is completely surrounded, pretty much, with clouds. And all three of those can never happen if NASA's correct and their double line model's correct. And that goes against what he's saying here. So anyway, without further ado, let's move forward.
This is Mick West at Medibunk.org. I've been asked why clouds and wires and things sometimes appear to be behind the sun. Well, the reason is because the sun is so bright, it basically washes out anything that's in front of it that is partially transparent or is small enough or is out of focus enough that the sun's light basically goes through it or around it. And I can demonstrate that with this little setup I have here. Is a work light behind a board with some white paper.
Now, he does say the sun, but it's the same concept with the moon. If you want to say everything that you're seeing is an optical illusion, and NASA and people that work for NASA or that are affiliated with NASA, that's what they always say, like Neil deGrasse Tyson. Oh, it's an optical illusion, optical illusion, optical illusion, optical illusion. No, it's not an optical illusion. They don't want you to trust your own senses. They don't want you to trust what you see, what you hear. I got tons of videos that I got to get made about AI, about all these drones that are not drones. I guarantee they're not drones. Majority of them. That's another video I've got to get made, set up and made. But there's tons of pilots, drone pilots that are coming out and saying, no, those are not drones. They're not acting correctly. They're not acting right. They're not acting the way a drone would act. They're the size of cars and SUVs. People flying their drones up to try to get a closer view. The actual drones. And when they get up close to a certain distance, their drone goes from 100% charge to a 0 charge and falls back to the ground. Or they won't even be able to get their drone off the ground to try to record it. It's just, there's a lot. People's clocks are getting, will go screwy while their drones flying over their car and or house. The minute that so-called drone UFO, which some are demonic, some are not, because some are fallen angels, some are not fallen angels. Because if you read, I think it's Ezekiel, when it's God's angel, that one of God's angels that looks like rings spinning around each other with eyes all around it, and it appeared that somebody was in the center of it, which is what we would consider a UFO today, and that was one of God's angels. So I don't believe they're all demonic. Some are, some aren't. But anyway, that's for another video. But I don't believe they're drones, and they're flying over restricted air bases. Why is it the military shooting them down when they're flying over military bases? Because they can't. Man-made weapons can't destroy spiritual things. Okay? Good or bad spiritual things. Only God and his son Jesus and the word of God can do that. Okay? Just to keep that short. That's why they're not being shot down, because they can't shoot them down. So anyway, let's move forward, because there's a lot of stuff that I want to try to go over in this one video. There's not even technically about this topic, but I got to get back to doing streams again. I really do. Anyway.
Paper simulating the sun, and I've got some old film strips and a small antenna to simulate clouds and cables. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the sun on. And you'll see straight away that
Now see how this really didn't change, okay? But back here did. And see how it's all real bright right there, all the way around where it would be. Even, all the way over here has changed. This really hasn't, because this object is still behind this. See, let's go back over here. See how that really hasn't changed? See that how that looks? Now watch. The minute he turns that on, this gets super bright. All this, and the closer you get to the light source, the brighter it gets. Behind this really doesn't change.
Sun on, and you'll see straight away that the film strip in the middle, which is simulating a cloud, has.
And yes, I know I'm gonna get it changed a little bit, and that's why I said one, it really didn't change. But two, you got to take into consideration that it's hitting a physical object here and bouncing back. Okay, so if you want to try to use that argument, then the moon would have to be shining all the way down to a physical object on the ground and then bouncing back to the clouds. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Because that's why this changes a little bit. Just very, very, very little. Because it's bouncing off of this board here and then back onto that board. From a physical object that's close to it back to the board. That's the only reason this changed a very little bit. Okay? Which doesn't match even the video that I recorded. It doesn't match it. It doesn't match the way it looks. But anyway, let's move forward.
It's disappeared, where the sun, it looks like it's going behind the sun. And the wire itself also similarly seems to be going behind the sun. Now I'm going to zoom in a bit to see what's a more typical video of the sun with things going behind it. And you see here, there's the sun and the film strips are going behind it. Now if I adjust the focus, so things are in focus, you'll see the antenna, which is a solid object, pops into visibility because it is.
And I'm not saying that what he's doing isn't correct. It is correct for what he has set up. Okay? What he's doing would be an optical illusion, but what he's doing doesn't match what people like me have recorded and that we are pointing out. Like I said, I just noticed today his name's Global Troller. I believe he is possibly a government shield. Honestly, I do. Sorry, I took a drink of my coffee. But anyway, you're more than welcome, like I said, to go check out his channel. This is it here. I will link it in the description so you can go check it out. And if he tries to come after me, I have fair use to break down this video and go over this video for educational purposes, because he's teaching part truth. So if YouTube tries to go after me for copyright, or he tries to go after me for copyright, I have all within my legal rights to go over this video. And I cannot wait until Trump gets back in office, because he's made several speeches since he's become president-elect, that he's going after people like YouTube, that try to go after and silence and shadow ban people like me that speak the truth. Try to go after people like me who use specific words. We won't have to do word salad for at least 4 years. We won't have to do word salad. We'll be able to just say and show things without being shadow banned and blocked by the elite and by their puppets, the doorkeepers, the gatekeepers, which all work for the devil, whether they realize it or not. They all work for the devil. So let's move forward with this. I just needed to throw that out there.
Actually blocking the light from the sun. However, you only see it if it's in focus. If you go slightly out of focus, it disappears. Come back into focus, and there it is again. Now, it doesn't matter how much I focus, the film strip never pops into visibility. That's because the film strip is transparent, so no matter how much in focus it is, the sun's light is always going through it. Now, I've got some other film strips on the side, and I'm going to move those over the film strip in the middle. And as I move them one at a time, This is the same thing as making a cloud more and more dense. You'll see that the film strip, which is simulating a cloud, is becoming more and more visible. And when we've got 4 strips on, you can see that the cloud slash film strip now appears to be going in front of the sun. And you'll see that the edges of it are still washed out because they're a lot more transparent than the rest of it. But the solid dark parts of it appear to be going in front.
And I want to point out as well, like the edges of this, of course, there's going to be a little bit of light around right here. That's just how light works. Okay, when the object is close to it, it's going to have a little bit of light that's around the edges, especially when you're blocking it with a physical object like this. Okay, where you stacked up tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of I know it's not that many, but you know what I mean. Film strips. The light is reflecting off of these film strips and back onto the board. Okay. So again, that doesn't prove that when you record the moon and sun behind the clouds, in the clouds, under the clouds, it doesn't prove it's an optical illusion. Okay? Because what little bit of light you are getting around the edges here is simply because that's the light source is close to it. He's got the light right up in the hole. And then you've got these film strips that are, now that he's got them stacked, the thicker they are, the more they're going to put the light back this way, because they're bouncing up a solid object. Okay? And like I'll show you in my videos, what he's showing here, of my video that I'm going to show you, of my clouds, the clouds behind the moon, is that this physical object, in my video, where the cloud's real thick, is behind the moon. It's not showing in front of the moon. He's saying here that if it's a thin cloud or a thin object, it's going to appear to be behind the moon, because it's transparent and the light is brighter, and so it looks like it's behind, that object is behind the moon or the sun. And then when it gets thicker, it goes in front of it, because the light source can't shine through it. That's essentially what he's saying. But again, in my video that I'm going to go through and show you, that I had recorded just to put up, but I noticed things when I put it on my laptop that I wanted to point out. And so that's why I'm going to break it down like this. And plus I wanted to show this here. But yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about. Keep watching, guys.
Of the sun. So there you have it. The reason why things appear to be going in front of the sun is that the sun is so bright, and if something is transparent like a cloud and the sun is behind it, then it will look like it is going behind the sun when it is in fact in front of the sun. And with the small objects, it's more to do with them being in focus if the object is in fact not transparent. So there you go. This is Mick West, Metadebunk.org.
And if you notice, he said Midwest, and then his channel is the Globe Troller. So what he says doesn't match his channel name. So I don't know if this guy here is just screen recorded this guy's video and put it up, or what. I have no idea. So anyway, let's go over here to my video. I'm going to mute it again.
Hello, YouTube.
I'm going to mute that so we don't have to listen to me both. Okay, so as you see there, I mean, you clearly, just from this shot alone, you see the clouds right there. You see the light on the bottom of the moon there. Really good. On the bottom of the cloud, I should say, not the moon. From the moon. Really good. But this is nothing compared to what you're going to see. But then you can see the thinner clouds behind it. It's literally wrapped in clouds right there. You got the thicker clouds that are in front and the lighter clouds that are in back, which goes against what he was saying, because that should be the other way around. It should be showing the thicker clouds in the front, and the thinner clouds in front, and the thicker clouds in the back. So let's move forward, because it gets even better.
Chris.
There's a good shot of the cloud, I don't know why this stupid thing is here. Clearly see the thinner clouds behind the moon there, but these are not thin clouds, they're like a medium cloud. But anyway, clearly see it behind the moon there. I wouldn't be able to zoom in like that if the moon was NASA, where NASA says that it is. And this camera that I'm using is a Panasonic Full HD HC-V as in Victor 180 10.0 megapixel still picture recording. It's got a 28 millimeter wide optical zoom f 2.06-103 mm 118. Okay. 90 times iZoom hybrid OIS. If you guys want to look it up, you can see what camera I'm using. It's not anything special. It's nowhere near the way a telescope would be. I should not be able to record that with that camera. Okay, so let's move forward. Another good shot. Got the clouds clearly behind the moon there. Some thick, some not thick, but it gets better, guys. Proving my point. Look at that. That is clearly, couldn't get it in focus, but that's clearly behind the moon. I was like, come on, get in focus in the video when I was recording it. Okay, here we come up to some thicker clouds. Look at the light that's shining onto the clouds behind it. Look at that. Back it up just a little bit. Let's see here. Back it up 10 seconds. That's probably too much. Yeah, it's too much. Anyway, look at that. Look how that's shining the light onto the thicker clouds behind it. Those thicker clouds should not be, according to what his description was and what he was reproducing, and what everybody says, like most everybody, whenever I show them or I research it or I talk about it, it's just an optical illusion. And then they give the same description the way he was doing, showing in that video. Look how thick those clouds are. And the way he broke it down in that video and showed with the camera film and all that, these clouds should be in front. Even the ones that are right here. All this should be in front of the moon because these are thicker clouds. But it gets better, guys. Keep watching. I couldn't believe that I actually caught this on film. I really couldn't. I was actually walking to the store, and it was a somewhat cloudy night, and I saw this, and I was like, oh, I gotta go back and get my camera. So I run back to my mother-in-law's real quick, because I usually try to carry my camera with me. Look at that. I usually try to carry my camera with me because I never know what I'm gonna see, never know what I'm gonna want to record. It could be a UFO. It could be this, something like this. I mean, it could be anything. But look at this, guys. Look at all that light, so super bright behind these clouds, or on these clouds, because the light source is in front of it, shining back towards the physical object that's behind it, which would contradict everything he just said in that video I just showed you. Look at those thick clouds. And what he was saying, these clouds should all be in front of the moon. They should not appear to be behind it. It should not be what he's saying is an optical illusion. Look at that. Look how thick those clouds are. And yet still behind the moon. And there's a few places where you'll see, like I said, you'll see real thin clouds going in front of it, while the thicker clouds are behind the moon. And then you'll see a part in the video where the clouds are literally wrapped around the moon. Look at that. That is a ball hanging in the sky. That is absurd to believe that is where NASA says that it is. that you know, outside Earth, thousands of miles away. I'm just talking about the clouds. We're coming up to real thick clouds, and I was hoping it was going to go into the really thicker clouds. Yeah, I got videos where the dark part of the moon is disconnecting off the moon from a few months ago. Um, yeah, it's we're living in some real crazy times right now. Some of the stuff that I've been recording and seeing. See, these are. Let's see here. I thought we were at the part where the thinner clouds were going to go in front of it, but look at that. Okay, there's one part right there. Look at those thin clouds. That's not spots on the moon. Those are thin clouds. You'll be seeing them move here if you didn't already see it. These are thin clouds. So according to what he was saying, these thin clouds should be behind the moon, while these thicker clouds should be in front of the moon. See how they're moving? That's clouds. That is not the dark part of the moon. They're going where the dark part of the moon is, but those are clearly clouds that are thinner. I was hoping it was going to go up to those thicker clouds right there, and it does. I was hoping because the way the clouds were moving, the way the moon was moving. See how the moon is going up? Look at that. Those thin clouds right there should be in front of the moon. Oh no, I'm sorry. They in his way of saying it, they're should be where they're at behind the moon. But those thicker clouds, see the thicker clouds? Those all should be in front of the moon right now. And see the thinner clouds going over it? Right there? See them? But you still got clouds right there? But these are thinner clouds. So, according to him, those should be behind the moon. Now, look at that. Look at that, guys. And look how thin those clouds look. And there's an open dark spot in the sky right there. Look at that. That's the moon shining, reflecting its light back to the clouds that are behind it. All of this is cloud or light from the moon. All of it. That should not be possible if it was an optical illusion. And the moon is where NASA says that it is. Look at that. There's a good shot right there. The clouds you can see behind the moon. You got thinner clouds in front of the moon, thicker clouds behind the moon. You got these thicker clouds right here that the moon just went through. That clearly were in front of the moon, and it still shows them in front of the moon. I mean, look at this. Like, you got thinner clouds, you got thicker clouds that are behind the moon. So it goes, like I said, completely the opposite of what he was saying. The thicker clouds, because the lights can't penetrate the moon, or the moon or the light can light of the moon. I can't even talk today. Can't penetrate the clouds to give that optical illusion, and so it appears to be the thicker clouds are where they're supposed to be in the front, and then the lighter, smaller clouds, the thinner clouds, because the moon can go through them, the moonlight, that those give the optical illusion of being behind the moon. But as you see there, it's the complete opposite. And a lot of these different parts in the video, and you know, it's just Open your eyes, guys. This is clearly thinner clouds. They don't appear to be behind the moon. They're clearly in front. And then these thicker clouds should be showing in front of the moon because the light of the moon can't go through them, but yet they're still behind the moon. None of this light right here could be possible if NASA's moon was where NASA says it is. Look at that. Another good shot right there. You got clouds behind the moon, the thicker clouds, and the lighter clouds in front. Look at that. Hopefully the camera will go, or that little thing on the bottom will go off, the control panel. Come on, go off. I ain't touching the mouse. Let's go off. But see the light there? Like you can clearly see that the light source is in front of the clouds. I mean, you got the thinner clouds and stuff here. These are all thinner clouds that are in front of the moon, not behind it where he said that they would be because they're thinner. And then there's thicker clouds in front. Or behind, I'm sorry. I didn't record very long because I had to go. And I knew it was going to take me forever to walk to the store because of my back. But, I mean, you can clearly see the clouds behind the moon. You know, and like that one spot, it showed the clouds literally wrapped around the moon. You know, and that wouldn't be possible on NASA's model. None of this would be possible on NASA's model. You know, the earth is biblically flat, guys. Wake up to the truth. Look at that. That is not no optical illusion. I'm sorry. It's not. Um, so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get off here because I got other things I got to do. But I just wanted to get this up. I'm going to try to get on a better upload schedule, especially being we're going to be here at least a minimum another 5 weeks. Um, so, you know, if I wait, you know, keep waiting to try to get home to get on a better upload schedule, uh, you know, a video a day or a couple videos a week or however I'm going to do it. I like to get one up a day because I got enough videos planned without any other content that I've got to go through and get set up where I can do a video a day. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. You know, I'm sure you guys have looked up at the sky and seen this and just thought, oh, it's just an optical illusion. You know, it's just my eyes playing tricks on me. But you know, it's not an optical illusion, guys. It's not. It's the devil playing tricks, trying to get you to not believe your own God-given senses. You know, like the book of Psalms says that the heavens declare God's handiwork. Well, if they declare God's handiwork and you believe what you're seeing is an optical illusion, then how's that declaring God's handiwork? And like I've told people, and I've said even in my videos, is how much more does it show God's power if He has the moon, sun, and stars? No planets are ever mentioned in the Bible. Not even what they say, oh, planet X, that's biblical. No, it's not. It says a star will fall from the sky, as big as a mountain, and the star's name is wormwood. Wormwood means bitter. That's what that means in biblical terms. If you in Hebrew, it means bitter. Okay. So, and it turns a third of the waters bitter. So that's why it's named wormwood. But it doesn't describe it as a planet. It's a star that falls from the sky. It's the size of a mountain. But anyway, but again, if NASA's model is correct, oh, think about this too, guys. Why is that not going off of the thing? If you think about the amount of craters that we have, okay, and they say that the craters are from these asteroids, they call asteroids, falling to Earth and making these craters, right? Think about it. A third of first of all, we don't have any more new craters. We've always had the same amount of craters. No one has ever shown me any more new craters. I've looked it up. I've tried to figure it out. There is no more new craters. But what I have figured out is that a third of the angels that went against God got thrown from heaven. Okay? They smashed into the ground. Even Jesus described how Satan, he saw Satan fall from heaven like a bolt of lightning and hit the ground. Okay. So when they did that, they made these indentations in the ground because you got this spiritual being falling into earth, okay, flung by God. Can you imagine being flung by God? That's a lot of power there. And smashing into the ground. So that would make these craters. So why do we have, pretty much from the research that I've been doing over the last few months, you've got pretty much the same amount of craters to match every single one of the fallen angels. One per angel, in other words. And no new craters have ever formed from all these so-called meteors and asteroids and whatever falling to Earth. Nothing. Not one. Just food for thought, guys. So anyway, like I said, it's all too confusing. Our calendar is not the right calendar. We're going off the Greek calendar, and we're not going off the biblical Hebrew calendar. So that throws everything off the timelines. There's a reason why God says that we're going to have signs and wonders in the sky, and we're going to have all these different things that are going to happen. But if you believe NASA's model, none of these things could happen, which I've proven in other videos. Like a third of the stars are going to be wiped out of the sky by the dragon's tail, the devil. On NASA's model, that would be impossible. In NASA's model, if that many stars fall out of the sky, Earth would be obliterated. If you got all these thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of stars, then how would they be, and they're just lights shining into Earth, how would you wipe a third of those to Earth all at once and then plummet into Earth's sky and into the ground? That wouldn't work. But if you got the stars that you can see, and that's all there is what's in the sky, what you could physically look up and see, then a third of those, yes, would cause damage, but they wouldn't cause that much damage. Compared to NASA's model. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there because I can just keep going on about this and this topic and other topics and tie them all together forever. Like I said, it's why I got to get back to doing live streams. If you guys can do help anything financially, would be greatly appreciated. I'm still fighting disability for my back. It's going to be in the next year before they'll even make a decision. They've already told me because I got physical therapy physical I got to go to, and a few other things I got to go to. They're waiting on my medical records from prior stuff that I've done. Um, so, and my wife works, but she doesn't make enough, especially in California. It's ridiculous how expensive everything is here. If you live in California, you know. Then all the other issues that we've got, like I said, our car problems and our bills are getting too out of control. We can't even pay them. Got almost $11,000 PG&E bill. So if you guys can do anything financially, even if it's $1, it would be greatly appreciated. Whether you do or you don't, please keep me and my wife and my mother-in-law and our children in your prayers. Jesus, God's Son, said, "Two or more come in my name, I am there." Also, speaking of that, that's another video I got coming up where I have proven God never said he was Jesus. I've got videos proving Jesus never said he was God, and that if he has a God, he can't be a God. And he said, "Do not, we tell Mary Magdalene, do not touch me, for I am not ascended back to my Father and your Father, my God and your God." Later on, I found a Bible verse where the disciples, one of the disciples literally makes the same statement, that he went back to his Father and our Father, his God and our God. So the disciples didn't believe he was God, which I've proven that in multiple videos. But if they're saying his God, they never thought he was God. Get what I'm saying? They just, so again, that's another double lie teaching. It's sun God worship. He's a son and he's God, son God. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it there for real now. Like I said, if you can help out anything financially, my PayPal link is in my About Me section. I've got other things linked in the About Me section, so please use all those links that you can. Keep us in your prayers. But yeah, open up your eyes, guys. This, once you start going down that rabbit hole and you start seeing the truth, everything starts getting unraveled, and everything you'll realize ties to biblical things, whether it be prophecies, or it shows the devil trying to hide God's work and miracles and things that he's doing. Like I said, how much more power does it show he has if you got the moon, sun, and stars hanging in Earth's sky, going over our head at the right distance, where it gives us heat, it gives us light in the daytime. In the nighttime, the moon does the same thing. It's been proven the moon gives off a certain amount of heat and light as well. People have shined their, I've done it myself even, my temperature gun up to the moon, and it bounced off of the moon and came back. So that's how temperature guns work. And it read a different temperature compared to if I moved just to the right or just to the left or up or down from physically pointing at the moon. It gave a little different temperature. So that says that that's a physical object in Earth's sky that's producing a small amount of heat, because all light produces heat. The brighter the light and the more intense the light, the more the heat it produces. So again, that's more proof that the moon is local and gives its own light and heat as well. But again, and then you got the stars that are going over us, over our heads, and they're all poised and listening to God's command, as the Bible says. He tells everything its orders: the moon, the sun, the stars, the rain, the sleet, the snow. They all have, places they go, storehouses, the Bible says, or a track, a circuit that they're on, like the moon, sun, and stars are on circuits. A circuit is a circle. They're going around the circle of the earth that God says that we live on. You get what I'm saying? Like, how much more power does that show God has? Where they don't fall out of the sky, they're not too close, they're not too far, they're perfectly where they need to be to give us the signs, the seasons, the heat, the light, so on and so forth. How much more power does that show God has compared to NASA's model? It's all Big Bang, evolution, so on and so forth. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get off here now for really real. Use all the links about me section. Rate, comment, subscribe. Much love. God bless. And I will see you on the next one.